Love them or hate them, furries are everywhere. Whether it's film, TV, anime, or games, anthro characters have quietly taken over pop culture this past decade. And with them, a fandom that used to be the internet's punching bag has somehow gone fully mainstream. Today, I'd like to break this down to explore how and why this once despised community has entered the mainstream by focusing on the cultural impact of anthropomorphism in media. Anthropomorphism in media isn't a new concept. Disney has been utilizing it since its founding in the 1920s, and it has only become more established. It especially found its footing during the Bronze Age with films like Robin Hood, The Rescuers, and even The Great Mouse Detective. The creative freedom that anthropomorphic characters provide is unmatched, and the success of these films proved it. But what makes this style so freeing and expressive? To begin with, animation itself is highly imaginative and experimental. Walt Disney himself said that animation can explain whatever the mind of man can conceive, and he was right. This is not limited to films utilizing animal characters. However, animal characters take this freedom of expression to another level. This is because animals are a universal canvas. They allow creators to craft a caricature of personality that is instantly recognizable. Lions are brave, foxes are sly, and bunnies are energetic. Animated films both old and new lean into this, but it's more than just these simple metaphors. Anthropomorphism allows us to explore human stories with a layer of separation that makes them feel more relatable. By stripping away the human skin, we find it easier to see the human soul. This is why BoJack Horseman works so well. Sure, the art style may look a bit goofy to some, but it is one of the most accurate depictions of depression on television. The anthropomorphic aesthetic provides a safe space to explore complicated themes without making it feel like we're looking into a mirror. Instead, it makes us feel like we're looking into an entirely separate story. Many animated shows featuring human characters also do this well, but animalistic characters just add another level of separation. This also comes into play in children's entertainment. I know I glazed Zootopia in my last video, but it is as equally relevant to discuss in this one. 2016 was a great year for animation overall, but the tide changed especially in regard to anthropomorphic media. Zootopia was different than anything we had seen before and marked a serious shift in tone for creators. Instead of something like The Lion King, which was essentially a drama but played out in nature, Zootopia reflected our human world in more ways than having them being sentient and using technology. It redefined what anthrocentric worlds were allowed to look like, and its story acted as a brilliant metaphor for prejudice. This was the moment that furry-adjacent media became more than just children's entertainment. Although we've seen commentary-heavy, adult-oriented furry media in the past with films like Fritz the Cat, this was different and infinitely more accessible. Zootopia didn't need to be over the top in its messaging, yet its execution both respected children's understanding of the world and successfully entertained their parents. The world building is incredibly creative, which keeps the audience engaged, while each character brings something different to the table with their personality. DreamWorks is also equally capable of turning children's entertainment into so much more. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was pretty much a masterpiece, exploring themes such as death, anxiety, humility, and the importance of living in the present. Although its utilization of anthropomorphism isn't as prominent to the story, it's still present in the character design and fun expressions. On a less serious note, a film like The Bad Guys also exemplifies the creative expression that anthropomorphic characters provide. Originally a children's book, DreamWorks took the idea of ragtag furry criminals turned heroes and ran with it. The film leans heavily into exaggerated movement and genre parody that just wouldn't hit the same if it used human characters. Despite some crass humor, being a children's medium and all, the film is still thought-provoking in its own way, exploring themes of redemption, challenging stereotypes, and moral complexity. Anthropomorphic characters aren't just great because they provide visual creativity, freedom of expression, and humor, but because they are accessible to a wide audience and provide stylization and depth that can be hard to replicate using human characters. These forms of media can be taken very seriously, as with BoJack Horseman, or just exist to make the audience laugh, like with Tom and Jerry. It is also important to ask, exactly why are people drawn to anthropomorphic media? The answer is as simple or as complex as you would like it to be. For me, it's childhood. Growing up with talking animal characters has had a huge impact on my taste in animation. Even media that wasn't explicitly quote-unquote furry bait, such as Winnie the Pooh, has definitely influenced the media I watch today. It has been fascinating to see the evolution of anthro animals in animation, from lighthearted, humor-based entertainment to straight-up action drama that will even make adults cry. This isn't limited to TV and film specifically, as there has also been a rise in anthro characters in video games. This has been happening since the 90s with games like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, and Banjo-Kazooie. These are still amazing games today, and without them, we might not have games such as Cult of the Lamb or Deltarune. It just really shows how prominent the medium has become. Who knows what the future holds? There are still a good chunk of people that dislike much of the media I have talked about simply because they are popular among furries. And like I said, anthro does not inherently equal furry. I just find the correlation between their popularity and the destigmatization of the fandom interesting. The fact that VivziePop was able to go from fan-created music video animations to getting a contract with Amazon Prime tells you all you need to know about the popularity of the seemingly degenerate fanbase. Thanks for watching. This was a weird one, but one that I felt was important for me to make. What's some of your favorite animal-centric media? Is it Warrior Cats? Zootopia? Or perhaps Norm of the North?